Hey all, this is Jim from Caligula's Horse, and you're listening to Collision Radio. Hello, this is Jim.
Hi Jim, it's Kat. How are you?
Oh, hey Kat. Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm a bit colder than you, I bet.
Yeah, no doubt. It's actually a really temperate day here in Brisbane, which is nice.
Yeah. So, well, you guys, you're actually about to set off on, in August. You're doing a 3-date East Coast tour, which you're going to be playing the album In Contact in full.
Yes, indeed. I've been looking forward to this one for a while, to be honest, because the album itself, being a concept album and all the different stories throughout the album, it's sort of, the minute it was finished, I was super keen to kind of go like, well, are we going to tell this story in full all at once? And I think it might be something pretty rare too. Like, I'm not sure if this one's going to happen again. So yeah, it's going to be special.
Well, it is an album that, you need to really sit down and listen to from start to finish. So I guess having it played live from start to finish is going to be a pretty amazing experience.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a journey, I think. It's a pretty massive undertaking, but, the things that I'm most looking forward to, I suppose, are the tunes that we aren't regularly going to be playing, in the future. But, we try and keep our live set sort of, pretty energetic and exciting and varied in a way that, there's very few of the acoustic ballads and things like that are going to be repeated in the future. So it's a cool opportunity to be able to put those songs out live.
Yeah, I guess you're playing a few of the tracks off the album that you've never played live before and had to go and learn to play them in a live setting.
Yeah, totally. Because of the nature of how we were writing the album, with Sam and I kind of writing everything in a small room together, and then demoing everything, and then everyone going to the studio and performing their parts, obviously. With some of the songs we've never played before together at all, so it's been really interesting getting those out into rehearsal and sort of feeling out what they actually feel like live. And
how does it feel like? Have you actually in rehearsal sat down and played from start to finish the album now?
Yeah, we have, and it's a proper journey. It's a huge sort of experience because the album is slightly over an hour in itself, and the set isn't going to be just like let's play and not talk. A big part of our show is me just running my mouth and talking nonsense between the songs. So there's still going to be that. There's sort of get little breaks, but it is a very big thing to do. The interesting thing for me is hearing how songs like there's a song called Fill My Heart from the Ink, the third chapter of the album, which on the album is sort of like one of the lighter moments, I suppose. It's sort of a varied kind of song that just sort of progresses to tell the story. And hearing that in a live context, it's actually a lot heavier. It sounds sort of forceful and heavy, which is kind of cool to notice. Yeah,
as you said, you're going to be doing a bit of banter and that, but are you going to be telling some of the story, or not some of it, but I guess the story of the concept album as you go through it?
It's possible, and that's probably a good idea, but on any given day you have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth on stage. And me neither, to be honest, and afterwards I don't even really remember, and guys are like, why did you say that thing? I'm like, I don't know, man.
One day that mouth's going to get you in trouble.
Oh, yeah, no more than it already has. I'm sort of used to it by now.
Well, as you said, the album's over an hour, and you're also going to be playing a selection of fan requests, but I guess that's going to be at the end of when you've done the album. Yeah, it's just a nice little sort of finish for it. So the album poll's been up for a while now. I think it's closing in, I'm not sure, I think early July. And heaps of votes so far. And it's been really interesting seeing what people kind of want to hear live. And it seems that people are tending towards the more, the longer songs that kind of take a bit of an undulating kind of journey energy-wise. So it'll be really, really interesting to kind of put that set together. All right. So where is this poll?
It's on our website. I think it's just caligulashorse.com/poll.
Right. Because I'm on your website, but I'm not seeing the poll.
Yeah, I think if people go to our Facebook, it'll be a couple of posts back. You'll be able to find the poll in there. Post about the Love Conquers All tour.
Right, because I'm sure, as you said, it'll be open till the end of July, so you might have a few people who still want to get their favourite song.
Yeah, the latecomers coming in and just spamming the page. So my favourite song, what's good?
Have you had any of the, I guess because you're going to do it not just every request that comes in, it's going to be the most popular ones, but have you had any that are getting right up there that you've never played live before?
Only one that we very rarely played live. So the ones that are at the top now have been played live before, but they're not as common in our set list. So it's pretty cool, especially for me, because I love to sort of dig into the back catalogue and perform stuff that I've even forgotten. It's really funny kicking out in rehearsal, going like, how did this song go again? I have no recollection. So yeah, they're all good things too. They're all good fun.
I guess when you're in a band and you've been doing it for years and you've written like albums and albums worth of songs, it's understandable in a way, but as a fan of music and that, it does seem strange that yeah. bands forget the lyrics to certain songs or how to play them and things like that.
Yeah, totally. I think that, it's almost certain that there are fans of ours out there that know the song's lyrics better than I do. Like, absolutely. Which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But no, I'm usually pretty focused and present on what we're doing in the present. What our next writing project's going to be, or what we've just done from the focus. Obviously the earlier stuff that we recorded, 7, 5, 3 years ago, it sort of falls to the back burner a bit. So you have to it's been a long time since I've listened to those albums. So you kind of go back and go, oh yeah, we did that. That was nice.
Well, as long as you're always moving forward, in a way, that's what bands are meant to do, and people want new music, but then they still fall back on their favourite old tracks, don't they?
Yeah, I'm kind of. It's sort of, I suppose it's a bit different in the progressive world. Like, people want variety and they're more open to the idea of bands changing. But by the same token, I think some people like to put music in a box. They like to this is what a band sounds like. And if they sort of deviate from that, then they feel that that's like an offense to what the band stands for. And you've seen that a lot with bands like Opeth and stuff, changing from, sort of the death elements of their sound with all of the growls and all of that heavy influence stuff, and going more towards that 70s prog style. There are a lot of people that were kind of against that because they said it was not Opeth. But my argument is that they're not in Opeth, so they don't get a say in what Opeth is, really. They don't have to like it, but they can't control it. I think people tend to try to do that a little bit.
Yeah. And well, on this tour, you guys seem to be very close to other bands and sticking close to people that you respect and admire in the music industry.
Yeah.
You have James Norbert Ivanyi. Ivanyi travelling with you. Is he like a solo act, or has he got a band?
He's a solo guitarist, so he's the predominant. He is a songwriter. He has his own project which he writes all on his own, but he has a band that travels with him, and they are amazing. I saw them in Brisbane a little while ago. Actually, my brother's band were playing with them, Rise Over Run, and they blew me away, just because it's one of those things where you've got this group of quiet, humble dudes that get on stage and just play this phenomenally tight set, really pro-level stuff. So that's pretty exciting to be playing with them. I think we've wanted to queue up a show with James for some time, and it's kind of cool that it's actually come together. Then, of course, the opener is Opus of a Machine from here in Brisbane and the Gold Coast, which is our former guitarist Zach Greenfield's project. And cool part about that is not only have they got a new album out, which is an absolute banger, I can say, but they're also really close friends of ours. We've been close friends with them for nearly a decade, so it'll be nice to be on the road with them.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up, but you said something in there that threw me a bit. You mentioned your brother's band, so how many children are in, how many brothers and sisters have you got, and how many are in bands or in music?
I have 2 brothers and 2 younger brothers and an older sister, and my youngest brother Sam is in Rise Over Run. He's a musician as well as a bunch of other things. He's a very talented guy. And my other younger brother, Daniel, is an actor by trade and a director, and he's got a little theatre company that he started some years ago. And my older sister is involved in theatre as well. So we're all kind of have something of an artistic proclivity, and we're not very useful in any other regard. But certainly for art, we kind of tend towards that.
Is that something that's been passed down from your parents doing the same sort of stuff, or just from their love of the artistic?
It's sort of early influence for us. My parents made it a sort of a mission for themselves to kind of support whatever we were interested in, So if we were showing a tendency towards art, that they would encourage us to to do that. And, Dad was a musician and an actor as well, and he still acts now. And my mum had done the same when she was younger as well. So it's kind of, I think they had sort of dipped their toe in the world of art when they were younger, and they kind of wanted us to delve a bit deeper, and that's what we've all done.
And well, you haven't looked back since you started Caligula's Horse. Were you in other bands before Caligula's Horse?
Yeah, I was in a project called Arcane for some years. It was about a decade in the end, and that was up until about, I think, 3 years ago. And we released 3 albums across our career.
Right, so they crossed over, Arcane and Caligula's Horse.
Yeah, for a few years. And the last album that Arcane released was a double album called Known Learned, which was like by far the most exciting and sort of best project that we ever undertook. And it was kind of a nice way to close things off, actually.
Yeah. And I guess while we're here, we can't not mention you have a massive year coming up, not just with this East Coast tour, but you're going with another band that you're friends with, Circles. You've got a massive tour of Europe over October and into November.
Yeah, it's too many shows. It's certainly too many shows in a row. I fear for my tender body, my frail form. But no, it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Like in 2015, we went on a big sort of nightliner tour like this before with a heap of shows, but that was in support of a Norwegian band called Shining, who are luckily lovely guys as well. But this time around, it's really exciting because it's actually a headline tour for us. So it's the first time that we've gone over there and just sort of said, yeah, this is our show, this is our thing.
Yeah.
And I suppose like we're close with the Circles guys, and also the opener, I Built the Sky, are really close with us too. So it's going to be such a comfortable tour bus. No one's going to be stepping on each other's toes and stuff. So I'm really excited.
But you are probably going to be sleeping on each other's laps.
Oh yeah, I mean, like nightliner life is really funny because at first it's horrifying because you're in this little coffin bunk and you got your little curtains that you close and you're in tiny little private coffin space, and you hate it for a few days, and then it's just pure Stockholm syndrome, and you can't wait to jump back in your bunk at the end of the day. And it smells. It really smells. Like I would never invite anyone else onto that bus because it's just like, hey, this is where we hang out, and then people just get gassed out and want to leave. But that's what sharing a bus with like 18 dudes is like. So that's the reality for a month in October. But to be honest, I'm so wrecked in the brain that I'm looking forward to it. You know what I mean? I got broken, and now I can't go back.
Well, it is like it's a full month because it starts on the 5th of October and it doesn't finish till the 6th of November. And you, as you said, you've got a massive amount of shows in there. You're doing a couple of festivals and that Circles and I Built the Sky aren't doing, so you're doing more than anyone. Yeah, yes. I mean, but again, it's good. I mean, the festivals excite me for a different reason, just purely because you get sort of that big vibe, like you're on a bigger stage, bigger crowd, that kind of thing, and that lifts you in a way. But our own private shows are all these sticky rock club shows, which, remind me of the old days in Australia where, you're just coming up and playing these gross venues, and it really excites me for that reason because I like things to be dirty and sweaty for the most part. Take that however you will. And this is obviously the biggest tour you've ever done.
Yeah, definitely the biggest headline tour we've ever done. I think there's a couple of extra shows in the works that we can't announce just yet, but I think it's going to end up being about 30 shows in something like 34 days or something. So, yeah, not a lot of nap time in there, but we'll see how we go.
So rather than having a list of the shows you're doing, you've got a list of your days off somewhere.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, my favorite thing is to count how many shows in a row, because that's sort of more what you sort of tells you what you're in for.
Yeah.
So if you have 6 in a row, hey, no big deal. If you have 12 in a row, it's probably too many shows. So we'll see how we go. We'll survive either way.
Yeah.
It's a killer lineup, and people are already, expressing their excitement about that, because I think they've been looking forward to Circles coming back, in particular to Europe, and they've got a new lineup now, a new vocalist, Ben, who is phenomenal. He's a guy that's going to make me feel nervous to follow up afterwards, because he's just a monster. And I Built the Sky they've built quite a sort of online following for themselves, but this is sort of one of the first forays into putting a band together and live performance and getting out to Europe, so people are kind of keen to see them too. So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And well, it is the In Contact European tour, so are you going to be doing the album in full in Europe, or is that just going to be playing like a normal show?
Yeah, we'll be putting a normal show together, I think. rather than playing the album in full. I think because, we might tour Australia once or twice a year, whereas in Europe we might only be there once every couple of years, and there are people who've been waiting a long time to see us play, so, they might be expecting or hoping that we play stuff from even the first album, so we want to give them that variety as well as the stuff from the new album.
Yeah, and, well, I guess then this In Contact tour played from start to finish plus fan favourites that you're about to do is pretty special because it's only 3 shows and it's only at this point for Australia.
Yeah, that's right. Plus we've sort of picked slightly smaller, more intimate venues for this one as well, because we kind of wanted to give the whole experience. We wanted to pack those rooms out. We wanted to kind of make sure that everyone is getting this like in your face, here we are experience with the album, and like really sort of get in touch with people, because I think that's the most important thing for me artistically is I want to communicate ideas. I want to be able to communicate stories and really touch people in that way. And being so close and in such a special environment with such a special album, I think people are going to get a lot out of it, and so will I. So yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah. And it's the opposite to what you're doing in Europe because you've got them spread out over 3 weekends too.
Yeah, that's right. We get to just chill out. It'll be easy peasy. Long sets, but then like a week to recover.
Well, if they're intimate, like venues, if they're like slightly smaller than what you usually play, I'm sure that the tickets are going to sell pretty damn quickly. And
yeah, they already are actually.
Yeah, wildthingspresents.com is where people can grab the tickets, and you are playing. And
they should pretty quickly.
Yeah, very quickly before they sell out. Yeah. At the 3rd of August, you're in Sydney at the Oxford Art Factory.
That's right.
11th of August, you're in Brisbane at the Woolly Mammoth. And on the 16th of August, you're at Howler in Melbourne.
Mm-hmm. And this is a Thursday night, I believe.
Oh, yeah, it is too.
So rocking on a school night. Being a bit naughty there.
You could have done this in one weekend because you've got your Sydney show on a Friday, your Brisbane one on a Saturday, and your Melbourne one on a Thursday.
Yeah, but how would I explain that to my family? Being away for such a long time, 3 days, come on.
Yeah, no, well, I don't know. How are you explaining Europe to them?
I'm not going to tell them. I'm just going to go.
Just going to say, I'm just going into the studio to work on some music and not come back for a month.
Yeah, I'm going outside maybe sometime. I'll just give him a phone call from Cologne. It'll be fine. Hey, guess what?
Guess where I am.
Yeah.
I guess you have been to Europe before, so you've met with your record label personally while you've been over there before. Mm-hmm. But I guess that's why you're starting in Germany, because that's where your label is.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and also that with getting booked for Euroblast Festival happened pretty early in the piece when the tour was getting put together, so all the dates kind of hinged off that starting point. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it looks like actually Circles and I Built the Sky aren't doing that one, so you probably won't be flying over on the same plane. They'll probably come a few days later. Yeah,
it's possible. It depends on whether we'll be meeting the Nightliner in Cologne or whether we're meeting the Nightliner at a later date at one of the other shows. But if we're picking up the Nightliner in Cologne, then it's probably best that we're all in the same place, so no one gets left behind at a petrol station. Which has happened, actually. Dave, he's going to be furious for me to tell him the story, but in Austria in 2015, we were playing in Vienna, and he was out talking with someone far too late and missed bus call, and we just left. We left without him and had to turn around in the middle of the night. So it was not good. And it was his fault, too. So, and he, to this day, doesn't believe it was his fault, but this is the truth, so I'm outing him now. It was definitely his fault.
So we're going to have to make sure, particularly, what was it, 16 guys you said on the bus?
Yeah, I think there's 16 of us plus the drivers as well, so 18.
So you're going to have to do head counts before you pull out on this tour.
Yeah, especially, if you're leaving at 4 in the morning, it's, we'll just tick everyone off.
Yeah.
Open up the little curtains in the bunks, little invasion of privacy. Are you here? Are you naked? Yeah, both. Okay, cool. Sweet.
Yeah. And because you have very little time between shows to turn back and pick someone up.
Yeah, that's true. But, you got to remember that, the distances between shows in Europe is so much smaller than in Australia. Brisbane to Sydney is like that 12, 14-hour drive, depending on who's driving and how much of a lead foot they are. But in Europe, between the shows, the longest runs are close to that time, but most of them are 4 to 6 hour drives. So we're well and truly there before we even wake up. You wake up and just sort of step out the door and you're in a new world, like riding a TARDIS.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. It's so difficult for a band to be, a worldwide commercial success these days, but at least like touring like this, you're living the dream. You're living what you wanted to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like living a dream that I didn't know I had, to be honest. I mean, of course, as a young person, starting music, you're like, yeah, I'm going to be the biggest, I'm going to be the best. But then, like, developing your artistry and kind of focusing on the music itself, you kind of lose sight of that. And particularly in the world of progressive music, you never assume that you're going to be making a particularly big name for yourself. You're just sort of going to be making the best music that you possibly can. And I suppose, fortunately for us, that music has resonated with a lot of people, and so now we can go and do this stuff. So, yeah, definitely a crazy time.
Yeah, well, I hope the European tour goes well. I hope you all survive it okay and no one gets left behind. But,
yeah, I mean, not unintentionally. Well, if somebody needs to be left behind, we're going to leave them behind. We're harsh like that. Cut all ties. Start your new life here in Budapest. I'll see you later.
Yeah, yeah, you're so harsh like that. You're taking your old guitarist on tour with you in Australia with his new band. Yeah,
and we can just we'll show him how much better we are now.
Yeah.
What a huge mistake he made.
Well, it is, like I said, the 3rd of August. The tour kicks off in Sydney, the 11th in Brisbane, the 16th in Melbourne. WildThingsPresents.com is where to get the tickets from. And you are Caligula'sHorse.com and also Caligula's Horse Band on Facebook. So, well, with the In Contact Played in Full and In Contact European tour, are you already working on another album, or are you waiting till that's all done before you work on another album?
Well, I mean, not in earnest. We're not going out of our way to go, yep, we're announcing a new album and here's a release date and this is what we're doing. But we're always kind of tinkering with stuff. And right now, we've started the conversation and we know kind of the direction we want to go, and we've started throwing ideas around. So, yeah, very casually, we have started writing.
Right. Awesome. Well, we look forward to whatever happens after your current journey. It's like a massive year for you. I'm sure you'll be taking a bit of time off over November and December when it's nice and warm in Australia, and making it up to your family for being gone so long.
Yeah, they knew what they were getting into. They know what this is.
Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to it too. I get very bored very easily, so we're probably just going to keep rolling after that. But we'll see.
It's always great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries, Kat. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And do have a great time and try and, I don't know, keep up those carbs.
Yeah, we will. We'll survive, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. I'll talk to you again.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers, Kat. All
Bye.
the best.
You too. Bye.